Dyson Maeda may have kept Celtic's Champions League hopes alive, but their European campaign will come to an end over the next 90 minutes, unless, of course, they can pull off a massive upset when they go to Germany next week. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football here for your European review show. Obviously, the big game, the game that we care about, was at Celtic Park. Celtic lost it by 2-1, and that is by no means a shameful result, not against a Bayern Munich side. But a lot of people did not like our match review. Now, to be fair, there was quite a few people that said it was a fair assessment, that we were being honest, and we gave an honest review of the game and how things went down. But there were some people that weren't too happy about it, obviously got called biased, got called bitter, got called hateful, all that shite. All the shite that you get called when you don't bow down and kiss Celtic's ass. Fact is, here's a fair assessment. First hour of the game, Celtic didn't turn up. From an offensive standpoint, they did not do enough. They did not have a shot on goal. Can you argue that they did pretty well to contain Bayern Munich defensively? Yeah, but they did give up 2 sloppy goals either side at half-time, which pretty much killed the game, at least for the meantime. And, I mean, we had Harry Kane missing a few chances. So, look, Celtic were not good in the first hour. And I've said that, alright? Celtic did not show up. They didn't perform. When we got into, like, the 65th minute, 70th minute, Celtic began to dominate the game. And they finished the much stronger team. They got that goal back through Dyson Maeda. They were the only team that looked like scoring the 4th goal of the game. And I think based on how well they played in the remaining 25 minutes, they probably deserved a draw from the game. And I think Brendan Rodgers, when he looks back at it, he will be a little bit regretful that Celtic didn't show that earlier in the game. I don't see how that's been biased. It's calling it how it is. I mean, I could bow down here and say, well, Celtic should have won 5-2, but that's not the case. They were not good enough for the first hour. They were very good in the last 20-25 minutes. And yeah, maybe they deserved more than 1 goal in that period. But in the end, they only got 1 goal. And we'll talk about that goal, and we'll talk about the penalty as well, which I'm also getting called out for. At the end of the day, the defender got to the ball first. It's there in black and white. Joe Hart said it wasn't a penalty, and he's about as biased as you can get. Just listen to that guy on commentary. But anyway, let's talk about the games on Tuesday. Brest free, Brest nil, sorry. I wish it was free. Brest nil, PSG free. I was part of an accumulator here, and I picked Brest, so I've got to apologise to my work colleague. We would have won big money, but I put Brest in there and they got beat. So, hold my hands up. I thought Brest were going to pull off an upset. Didn't happen. PSG effectively killed the tie. Man City were leading Real Madrid, but ended up losing the game by 3-2. Now, we know that Man City, when they're at their best, I think Man City have proven that they are probably the best team in the world. Over at least the Pep era, I think Man City have proven that they are, maybe not so much in the Champions League, because Real Madrid have dominated that for a long time, but Man City have either been the best team or the number 2 team, alright? When they show up, they can beat anybody by any amount. But the fact is, they're not at their best, and I just don't see them going to Madrid, going to the Bernabeu, and I just don't see them overcoming this result. I know there's only 1 goal in it, but yeah, Man City of previous seasons, absolutely. Man City of previous seasons, you could argue, are favourites for this tie. Man City of now, I think they're going to exit in the next leg. I think they're going to lose the second leg, and I think they're going to go out. So, is what it is. Juve 2, PSV 1. Predict a slight Juve win, and they got that. And then Dortmund, I was surprised to see Dortmund win this game by 3-0. I mean, I'm not surprised Dortmund won, but I mean, again, at 3-0, effectively ending the tie here. I expected Sporting to put up a much better showing at home, but it wasn't to be. So yeah, in my opinion, Sporting pretty much out of that tie. I mean, obviously the other two, City, Real Madrid, Juve, PSV, only 1 goal separates them. PSV will probably think they've got a decent chance, but I think Real Madrid will do enough to see off City. The other 2 ties are done. Dortmund and PSG, they are through. Move into Wednesday, Club Brugge 2, Atalanta 1. It's a tie that I think could go either way, pretty close to 50-50. Club Brugge have the lead, but Atalanta, home tie, second leg. I think they're marginal favourites. I think that Atalanta will probably go through, but it's going to be very close. Feyenoord 1, AC Milan 0. Again, Feyenoord with a really shallow lead here, but again, now they have to go to Italy, so that's going to be a tough game. Could still go either way. It's in the balance for sure. Right, Celtic 1, Bayern Munich 2. Bayern Munich scoring that goal just on the brink of half-time. I know Greg Taylor was going to get a lot of shit, and he did lose his man, but I thought he was unlucky because he actually, gets something on the ball and it just bounces off the Bayern attacker, and then, that strike. He's unfortunate because you're not going to hit the strike that perfect that often, to be honest. And it's just one of those moments where he's hit the shot and you ain't saving it. His destination's back of the net. So yeah, Greg Taylor a bit unfortunate there. Second half, Bayern take a double their lead. Harry Kane, and at this point it's 2-0. And I thought at that point, man, it looked like Celtic weren't going to get back in the game. I'm not saying Rodgers would have took 2-0 at that point, but things did not look good for Celtic, right? They weren't playing well. Bayern Munich weren't exactly great, but they were dominating the game. However, something changed. Rodgers made substitutions. Celtic went for it in the last 20-25 minutes, and they started dominating, not just dominating the game, not dominating chances, also dominating possession, and that's something you don't really see for a Scottish team against a top European club. Yeah, we've seen Celtic and Rangers put in good performances against, and even Aberdeen as well. We've seen them put in good performances against European sides, but it's not often they dominate possession. But I believe Celtic actually had more possession than Bayern in that second half, which is crazy. Outnumbered them massively in terms of shots as well, corners. Celtic ended the game pretty much even when it comes to shots and corners. I think Celtic even had a better goal expectation as well. I mean, there was claims for a penalty. Upamecano there at coming down on I think it was the foot of Engels. I mean, initially I thought it was a penalty. Seeing the replay though, he does get to the ball. So, I mean, the right decision was not to give a penalty. We got the goal with Dyson Maeda late on. Good goal. I mean, it looked like they were going to give it offside, but then you see that there's a second phase of the attack and Dyson Maeda's onside. So, I mean, it just goes to show you that sometimes when you see something naked eye, first time live, it's totally different from what you actually see on the replay. So I think VAR is good. Celtic get the goal. And yeah, they arguably should have got a second. They created the chances. They just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And I'm thinking for the second game, when they go to Bayern, I would have the front three of Kuhn on the right, Jota on the left, and Dyson Maeda through the middle. That's got to be Celtic's best chance of... it depends how Rodgers is going to set up. Will he try and contain Bayern and hope to find one goal out of nowhere? Possibly, but I just don't think it's realistic for Celtic to try and go to Germany and not concede for 90 minutes. I think that Rodgers should be expecting to concede in this away leg, in the second leg. Therefore, I think Celtic need to score multiple goals. And the way you score multiple goals is to have a front three of Jota, Kuhn and Maeda. That they can score goals. Look, there's no reason why that front three can't go to Germany and score 2 or 3 goals. It can happen. And I think that's what they'll need to do, because I just don't see Celtic shutting out Bayern. So, look, it's very unlikely, but the 2-1 scoreline gives them a chance. Had it been 2-0 or worse, then effectively, the tie's over. But there's 1 goal in it. Anything can happen. If Celtic get the first goal in Bayern, then, absolutely it's game on. Hell, even if Celtic can keep it at 0-0, if they can keep it level going into the second half, going late, then you only need to nick 1 goal to force extra time. Could go to penalties again. Anything can happen. So look, it's not looking good. Bayern are the favourites. They are heavy favourites. And I think in a week's time, Celtic will be out the Champions League, but they've given themselves a chance. And you'd probably take that. Because look, we've seen on Tuesday night, a lot of these ties are over. Sporting, Dortmund, at 3-0, that's done. That is done. Brest, PSG, 3-0, that is done. So the teams, Sporting and Brest, the teams that had the home advantage there in the first leg losing 3-0, had Celtic lost this game 3-0, it would be over. We wouldn't even be talking about a second leg. But, they got the third goal, the all-important third goal, they got it, and now they've got a chance. So it's as simple as that. And Monaco had a man sent off, they lost to Benfica. Again, another tie that I could have seen being 50-50. Benfica now will take this 1-goal advantage into the second leg. They have the home tie. I would expect them to go through from this point, but by no means is it over, because, it's 2 evenly matched teams, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens here. So let's move into the Europa League then. I don't know why we're looking at the table. Wait, that's the Conference League. Jesus Christ. Get my colours right. Get my fucking colour. Orange. That's the Europa League. How could we forget about Europa League's Thursday nights? Right, let's see. Alright, here, we're finally there. Ferencváros at 1, Victoria Plaza 0, Union SG 0, Ajax 2, Midtjylland 1, Real Sociedad 2, Fenerbahce 3, Anderlecht 0, 22, Bodo Glimt 1, AZ Alkmaar 4, Galatasaray 1. That's a big result there, and Galatasaray probably knocked out the competition at this point. PAC 1, Steaua Bucharest 2, Porto 1, Roma 1. You know, that's the big tie of the round, in my opinion. You know, two footballing giants. It is what it is. You know, all right, they might not be the elite of the elite, but they're two massive clubs, and one of them is going to be eliminated at this pretty early stage, especially when you factor in it's the Europa League. If this was a Champions League tie, then you'd be like, fair enough, but I mean, this is the Europa League, so these are two big teams, and one of them is going to go out, and at the moment it's all tied, set up perfectly for the next round. And then we look at the Europa Conference League. Wow, look at that, man. Didn't even know until that. Shamrock Rovers. I predicted Shamrock Rovers to get a result. Big Stevie Cool said they didn't have a chance, and look at that, man. They got something. Shamrock with a massive 1-0 win. Anyway, TSC 1, Phil Jagielka 3, Siege 2, Apiol 2, Finnegur 2, Panathinaikos 1, MOLDE 0, Shamrock Rovers 1. What a result for Shamrock Rovers. Ghent 0, Real Betis 3, Borac 1, Olympia 0, Omanoia 1, Paphos 1, and Copenhagen 1, Heidenheim 2. So the two teams that beat Hearts there having a showdown. So that's a massive result for Shamrock Rovers, taking a 1-0 lead now back to their home ground for the second leg. It'd be fantastic if they can do it. I'd love to see them do it, get into the next round. And I mean, they've gave themselves a chance. I mean, look, had they drew the game or even lost by a one goal margin, they would have had a chance. But to actually take a lead into that second leg, man, I mean, I hope they do it. Fingers crossed that they can do it. But anyway, guys, that is it there for the review show. No point looking at any tables or anything like that, because it is the knockout round, so none of that's really coming into effect. We could have a look and see who they play, but we'll do that after the second leg, because then we'll know who's through and we'll know what the last 16 ties look like. But just a quick look here at the coefficient. Celtic obviously lost, so they don't pick up any coefficient points. I believe still stuck on 16, and I mean, it could end on 16. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully they can pull off a massive upset against Bayern. We'll have to wait and see. Rangers currently on 14.75. I'd like to think that they'll add to that, even if they don't go into the next round, even if they do go out in the last 16, you'd like to think that they'll pick up some form of result over two legs. So it could be that could be our final coefficient points for the season, 8.050, but we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, that's it. Fog Football. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one, and of course, until then, peace.